Hi, welcome to Main Street Macro. I'm Neela Richardson. And on this, the 100th episode of the Main Street Macro, we thought we'd go back to basics. Why is Main Street so critical to the US economy? Well, there's three reasons that we should remember why Main Street is the engine of growth. The first is consumers. Consumers are the bulk of the US economy. Their spending drives 70% of growth. The second reason is small firms, those mom and pop businesses that you pass every day on your way to work or you're on the way to your kid's school. Those businesses create two-thirds of the net new jobs in the United States. And finally, Main Street is important because of its workers, because there's only one way that economies grow over time. That's when there are more workers and those workers become more productive. So, with all the benefits that Main Street provides the US economy, what does Main Street need to grow? Well, the first thing they need is a certain degree of certainty. Yeah, there's a lot of headlines that are just packed and rifled with uncertainty, from big humanitarian disasters to tech layoffs to discussions about the federal debt limit. But what consumers need to keep spending, to keep being that driver and engine of growth, is certainty that the prices they're paying now will be stable. And that's why the Fed is so important. Luckily, we've seen consumers' expectations about prices over the long term start to stabilize. That means that consumers can start planning for the future without worrying about a surge in prices going forward. That's critical. Now, the second thing that Main Street needs to thrive is access to credit. Here, the news isn't as good. We've seen access to credit rebound a bit since 2020. However, the number of banks that are tightening credit access has increased recently. And that includes access to all kinds of different credit. For small, medium, and large businesses, credit access has been restricted. And also for consumers, when it comes to credit cards and auto loans and mortgages, there's less access now than there was before the pandemic. And that leads us to why the third aspect of what Main Street needs right now is so important. That's business investment. You see, when businesses invest in their products and services, that means that consumers can get more of what they need and get more at lower prices. And you can see this virtuous cycle between investment and consumer spending, which ultimately drives the US economy. As we go back to basics, it's really important to understand that Main Street is the driver of the US economy. And when Main Street wins, we all win. Thanks for watching the Main Street Macro. For those of you who've watched every episode, a special thanks to you. Please join us next time. And for more information on the week ahead, go to adpri.org.